Hello, and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the fourth grade concept of measuring angles. This is 4.7c, Readiness Practice, Proficient version. If you're interested in exploring the intermediate or advanced versions of 4.7c, or the Readiness Practice resources aligned with any other standard, you can find those by using the link in your video description. So we've got an angle here, and we see these two rays that join down here at the bottom, and they come across, when they come across this protractor here, they're actually hitting two different numbers. So if you look on the inside number, that number that's kind of hidden right there, that's 100. And then this number right here is right between 40 and 60, right? That's 50. If we look on the outside number, we're going to see 80. And then we're going to see between 120 and 140, that's your 130. Now, here's the thing. It really doesn't matter whether you use inside numbers or outside numbers. If you use the inside numbers, right, you can subtract from left to right to measure the distance in that angle right there. So 100 minus 50, right, that's going to equal 50. And we're going to put a little circle there. Our degrees, that's our unit of measure. If we use the outside numbers, we have to end up flipping them, or else we get a negative number. So let's put the larger number first, 130 minus 80. But guess what we get? We still get 50. So when we're measuring on a protractor, we can measure on the inside or the outside, doesn't matter which, as long as we do the same type, inside, inside, or outside, inside, outside, outside. What we don't want to do is we don't want to use like this 80 and then this 50. That's going to get us the wrong number. So always choose two outside numbers, two inside numbers. But the measure of this angle is, we'll put it right here, 50 degrees. So looking at our second problem, so we have one ray. So remember, a ray is it's a line that goes from one point. It starts at one point and goes on forever at the other point. So it's like a line, but it's got an arrow on one end. And we have we need to form a 95-degree angle. Well, we can only really go one way here because look, I'm sitting here at 80 if I'm counting from the left. So if I wanted to draw my other angle over here, right, that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. I would need to go 90, 95. I would need to go somewhere like off, and that's not going to work. So let's go 95 in the other direction, okay? So there's a few different ways we can do this. If we want, we can just do skip counting, right? So let's just jump by tens. It's like a number line, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. And right there is going to give me my 95. Or I could have just taken my 80, added the 95, got 175, and then found that, which is right there. So I'm going to draw a line here, and it's going to, let's get a red one, so it matches. It's going to start right here, and I want to get it to be right there. All right. So we're going to draw a little arrow on the end there, and that is going to be really the only place that on this protractor, if the first ray is sitting right there at the 80-degree mark, if we're using the outside numbers, it's the only place that could be. And so we'll go ahead and just call this 95 degrees. All right, so now we need to draw two different angles that each measure 55 degrees. We need to write an equation for each angle. We need to show the subtraction to figure out how we did it. So let's do the first one. We can go ahead and just make super simple. Let's just use one of the zero lines. And I want to use, for this one, I want to use a ray that goes to the right. So let me see if I can get it to start right where I want it to. All right, so we'll go right here. Okay, so I'm using the zero line, but the zero is on the inside. So that means I need to go to 55 on the inside, not the outside. I'm not going to use that 180. So I'm going to start at that exact same point here. and I'm going to go my 55, and my 55 is going to land right there between my 50 and 60, using, once again, inside numbers. Okay, so this is going to be pretty simple, right? This is the 55 minus 0 equals my measure of 55 degrees, because what I'm doing is I'm measuring that 55 right there and that 0 right there. That's where my two lines go through. Now let's challenge ourselves on the next one. Let's make one that does not go through a 0 line on on either side. So let's just start here and let's just randomly go through, let's go through 60. All right, so if we're going to go through 60, then we need 55 degrees. We've got two different options, okay? If we wanted to, we could do 60 minus 55, and that actually leaves us with 5. So I could actually have my second ray at 5 degrees right here, and we'd be fine. But I want to make it open a little bit bigger, so or use more of the protractor on the left side rather than the right side. So let's add the two. Let's just take 60, and we're going to add 55. That's going to get me to 115. So let's make our shape there. I'm going to start at that same spot right in the middle, and I'm going to go to 115. That's going to go right there. So the other one could have worked as well if I wanted to. And so our equation here, to show that this is 55 degrees, we're going to say 115 minus 60 equals, and there's our measure, 55 degrees. Now your angles might be different than mine, as long as they're 55 degrees. But there's a lot of different ways to show 55 degrees, so yours might be slightly different. If you are interested in exploring the 4.7C Readiness Practice Resource for the intermediate or advanced version, or the Readiness Practice Resources aligned with any other standard, you can find those by using the link in the video description.